Hey, good morning, good morning. Welcome to FB Live, right? So here you are with FYI Live this morning. I am very excited to make sure that you guys get a lot of great content today. I'm excited that I'm going to be interviewing today Martha Bass, who is the author of Low Heels, and I'll show you guys this here in a moment. I first want to just say thank you to some of our supporters. Aaron Riggs just joined us. He's the founder of the Warrior Mindset. Leah, the life coach, as well too. She's another great supporter of the show. And just joining us directly live is Ms. Martha Bass, who is the author, speaker, and also with her co-author is Dr. Carol Bliss on the amazing book Love Heals,
Yeah,
right? And it may look a little backwards on here, but we'll make sure that we put some of the content directly below so folks can get a hold of you afterwards as well too.
thank you.
So, hey, I appreciate you joining us early this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I was a little nervous
Yeah.
because I've never done anything live, but here I am.
Hey, somehow folks have never done anything live. I always wind up on my show and I end up throwing them head first. So you're going to sink or swim, but I'm pretty sure you're going to do
Well,
great.
thank you.
Yeah. Hey, so I want to make sure because we are a 30-minute show to try to get as much content as possible. So again, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you a little bit more. I've had the amazing opportunity to read this book, and it's pretty remarkable. So I want folks to get to know who Martha Bass is and tell us a little bit about what got you motivated to go down this journey or this path.
Well, I've been wanting to write a book for a while already, but I started working with Dr. Carol Bliss, my co-author, a couple of years ago after having a stroke. She had a drastic stroke. And I worked with her for a full year into her recovery. And she has written 6 books before this one. So she's the one that encouraged me that, to write stories and share to the public how healing can be done. Because healing can be done. And so working with her for a year, I'm going to the doctors, and the doctors telling her that she couldn't heal anymore because, like after a year, whatever heal has happened, you can't heal anymore because that's the way the medicine works. But that was not true. After working with her through affirmations and rewiring the brain and actually taking action on a daily day basis, we were able to create a healing that it's remarkable. I mean, if you talk to her right now, you can barely tell that she had a stroke. There's still some
Wow.
issues because I mean it's only been 2 years, but the healing has been remarkable. I really believe in the power of rewiring the brain. I believe that all of us have the power to rewire our brain, to become better, to change our DNA, to actually create a different identity through the process of affirmations, meditations, prayers.
Tell us about, share with the folks too. You talked to me that you studied a lot about brain waves, brain, everything that's powerful within our brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about it. We always hear that brain activity or the brain is the most powerful muscle
Mm-hmm.
that a human has,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I know you studied a lot of this too. So share with us, and share with me again some of the things you've gone through as far as studying the brain and some of the outcomes you've experienced.
Well, the brain is organ slash muscle. Okay, and it's in charge of all our bodies, of everything as we know. However, the brain, it's like a forest, and it's full of dendrites and neural pathways. Okay, different pathways. So just imagine a forest with different pathways. However, the pathways are done of the things that we do repeatedly as thoughts and actions and words that we tell ourselves over and over and over, just because we are creatures of habit. But we don't realize that those dendrites can be changed. Those pathways, we have to create different pathways to create a different habit. Okay, so when we learn how the brain works and we understand that they're like two dendrites glued together, and by affirmations and in setting the intention first, okay, doing affirmations, taking action steps, it allows those dendrites to separate and create new dendrites, which is the new habits. So, but it's important to also mention that it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Therefore, when we talk about affirmations, when we talk about taking action steps, and we don't see results within a couple of weeks, we think that it doesn't work. But in reality, it takes time. There's not a magic pill. It takes time to rewire the brain, but it is possible. And when we understand that and actually go through a step by step, the magic, it's there, and it's just remarkable. That's why some people heal, some people don't heal, because it's all connected. And it's also important to understand and to remember and to mention that it's also the food that we eat that feeds the brain. It's not just affirmations, but the food that we eat, that we drink our water, the right foods, that it's a fuel for the brain. So it's a process. It is a process.
I know that part of what you do with coaching is not only do you do personal one-to-one coaching as well, right? I'm actually going. That's what that's
I'm
like.
sorry,
right?
you broke up a little bit. I couldn't hear what you said.
Oh, okay. So as far as the process is concerned, I know that the book, obviously it's one thing that folks are going to find. So very detailed stuff, I think, of your personal journey as well too. That's obviously, I don't want to share too much on it because I want folks to really take a moment to get to know you from the book itself and the journey that you've gone through in order for you to become this great writer and really try to help folks and heal folks through love, right? So what is what are some of the folks that you're running into? What do you see as a pattern right now? Because I know that, for example, there's a lot of broken folks out there, love seems to be a word that's been taken for granted in everything that we do every day. So how do you deal with that, or what do you see out there with folks that you're dealing with?
First, I do want to say something. I don't believe that we're broken. We do have issues. We all have issues. We're humans and we are here living life on a daily basis. So we're not broken. We just don't understand why we do the things we do. Okay, but we're not broken. I think the main issue of all of us, all of us, is that we don't love ourselves enough. We don't believe that we are worthy because of whatever happened to us in the past, because of any mistakes that we did, or because somebody did something to us. Then we believe that we are not worthy enough. The way one thing, it's also the brain that the way that our brain is wired, the way that our DNA is. All of us, every single one of us as humans, want to be liked, validated, and accepted. It's just the way that we are wired. Okay, therefore we go through life pretending or lying because we want to be accepted. We don't want to be disliked or pushed away. So therefore we lie when we don't realize that our only job here in this world is to be our unique self. When we understand that, but that's tough. Okay, that's tough.
Right.
That is a tough job. I don't think that we ever get there. It's like exercising. If we want to be fit, we have to exercise forever. If we want to be healthy, we have to eat healthy food forever. It's the same thing with loving ourselves. It's a journey that it takes time to really feed our brain and our mind that we are worthy just the way we are, and embrace that beautiful uniqueness and be the unique self that we are. But because we are so judgmental with the world out there, thinking that people should be this way or behave a certain way, then we bring that to ourselves as well.
And you know what? That is actually very true. I think the simple thing that I've noticed, and I appreciate you correcting me about the word broken too, because it does make a lot more sense, which is the way you're describing it, that is what we commonly use, or quote unquote, the word broken, right? But I also think that acceptance is also something that not only do we struggle as kids, right, being accepted around our peers and so forth, but even as adults, right? Any new group that we try to join, always feeling like maybe the outsider. And it takes, I think, definitely folks like you who are very welcoming to make that transition or make that that acceptance a little bit easier, period. I'm sure you've walked into places, and I've walked into places too, where um, you're that outsider, and they kind of keep you as that
Yeah.
outsider. Nobody comes up to you, nobody says hello and all
Huh?
that, and I think that's also very important that we try to be as friendly as kind to people too.
Mhm.
That's I think one of the things that you really show a lot of in the book. You know, you talk about that journey, how you helped also Dr. Bliss as well on there.
Mhm.
But just the fact that you're taking the time to help another human being says, or actually speaks volumes of who you are as a person and how you're also trying to help folks too.
Thank you. Yeah, and I do this work and I try to help others, but because me myself have been there, and I still there. Like I said, it's a journey. But seeing my life 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and understanding the way it works is like I want all of us to understand. I want all of us to know that there's action steps, that there's tools that could make us, have a better life, to understand that we have to love ourselves and that beautiful self that we are and just embrace our uniqueness, because our uniqueness is what makes us special. That's why we are all in different shapes, different colors, different everything, because that's what makes us unique. We got to
Right.
embrace that beautiful self that we are. And because so many times we want to change others, and it's not fair for anyone. It's just not
Right.
fair. Just the way we have to embrace ourselves, we got to accept everyone else. I also believe that nothing changes until we change. We want our
Absolutely.
spouses to change, we want our kids to change, we want our significant others to change, but the change starts with ourselves, with ourselves.
What do you tell folks who are kind of struggling with that as well too? Like when you have an obstacle where um, you're right, we kind of tend to look at other folks before we take a look at
Mm-hmm.
ourselves and try to change everybody in the
Mm-hmm.
world before really looking in the mirror and saying, you're the problem. You're the main reason for the problem, right? What does it take, or what are some things that we should be very conscientious of that we're doing that to try to avoid?
Okay. And I am going to say one more thing. It's not that we
Sure.
are the problem or that someone else, it's the problem. It's just the way we experience life. It's not an issue. It's just the way that we experience life. Because if we see it as a problem, or it's like, oh my God, it's this big issue. And it's not, it's just the way it is. Okay. It's
Got it.
just the way it is. And once again, if we understand the way we are wired and the way why we do the things we do, then it becomes easier to accept. So it's not that we are the problem or someone else. It's actually just taking 100% responsibility of where we are at, because we
Okay.
are where we are because of ourselves. 100% responsibility. We want to blame our parents, we want to blame the government, we want to blame others around us, or the economy, but in reality is that we are 100% responsible for where we are at. Once we understand that we are 100% responsible and we don't blame anyone else, we are giving ourselves the power to have 100% power to create a different identity, to create a different outcome. Because we give the blame away, therefore we give ourselves the power. If we
Gotcha.
don't take 100% responsibility of where we are at, we are giving someone else the power to dictate if we could have a better future or not. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So once I know that, let's just say myself right now, the issue with my weight, that's something that I have always struggled. I want to be fit, more fit or thin or healthier, right? I can't blame someone else. It's my responsibility. It's 100% responsibility for Martha. Therefore, I have 100% responsibility to take an action step to do different. I can blame no one else for it. Same thing goes with everything else. Everything else. But we become the victim and try to blame everyone else. Therefore, we don't have the power, or we don't want to be responsible to create a change. Because change is
And,
difficult. It's not easy, but it's difficult, but it's possible. And once we create the breakthrough, it's like, oh.
but but I also like the fact that you are very confident when you speak. You're also very confident and transparent with issues that you have. I mean, that's something also. Again, I'm going to point out the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you talk about that journey in there. You're very open. You're very transparent. I mean, you've gone through through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a lot of folks that I personally know would just probably be a mess, you know, having experienced some of that. But out of a lot of struggle, out of a lot of obstacles and hurdles, you've become very powerful in helping others see themselves in a better light, because we need it. That's the reality
Yeah.
of it, right? We're all out there. We all need support. We all need to surround ourselves with just really good folks that can help us, or pick ourselves up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when we're really down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very powerful what you're doing with that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And the thing is that sometimes we think that we are the only ones suffering. We think that we are the only ones in pain, the other ones that we're having struggle or challenges, but every single one of us have the issues. And in reality, it's not the challenge itself that it's so hard or so painful. It's our mind, the way our mind thinks about the issue of the challenge that we're going through. So when we learn to use some tools and control that mind, then the change becomes a little easier. Not just easy, but just not as hard as it should be.
So talk a little bit about also how are you helping folks? Do you have a program? Is it just a book? What exactly? How do folks get in touch with you or sign up to have a session with you as well? Too?
Well, I am a relationship coach. I am a life coach, but I specialize in the relationship with the self, because I believe that nothing changes again until we change. I do have a 12-week transformation program as well as just one-on-one coaching. It depends on whatever it is that you're going through or the issues that you experience. But what I do is I help people connect with themselves in such a beautiful way, in loving way, because I believe that love is the answer, to get in tune with the higher self, with your higher power, with your high, because you know every single one of us believe in a different higher power, but with your own higher power, so we can uncover what it is that is stopping you, preventing you, or keeping you from experiencing exactly what it is that you want to be experiencing in your relationship with others and with yourself. Because once again, nothing changes until we change. So I have, you know, my coaching session. I'm also a spiritual coach, a spiritual counselor, and I do have a 12-week transformation program that is step by step. It's the right system, the right support, and the right accountability. Because I think they all three of them go together. Because we all know what to do, right? We all know what to do to lose weight. We all know what to do to be fit. We all know what to do if we want to write a book. We just don't do it. It's not what we know, but it's having the right support and the right accountability that help us to go through the steps through the process of getting across the river.
And that's good to know. And also, I posted below us here your website as well too, so folks can get a hold of you that way. Talk a little bit also. You also have a radio show on NBC Radio.
Well, Father John, he does the interviews and he invites me once in a while. So yeah, I've been with him a couple of times, and I usually post it on Facebook. So I do have my YouTube channel, which is Martha's Coaching, and you could see all the shows in there. Or also see it on Viewpoint with Father John, and he has all his shows in there, which is good.
Awesome. And I know you also have a great workshop coming up.
Yes,
right?
we have a workshop. Yeah, we have a workshop in Claremont. It's a forgiveness workshop from 10 to 3. It's going to be lunch included, and it's only $35. And I'm going to do that with Father John. He also has a book along with my book. We're going to have our books in there. And it's such a beautiful workshop because we all carry that luggage without even realizing that we're carrying the luggage, and we think that, oh, that happened too many years, I don't think about it anymore, therefore it's gone. But if we don't actually take the time to do the work and actually forgive the process, we are still carrying the luggage and we don't even realize it, and we take it to our next relationship, to our next work event. We're just carrying it, and then we wonder, why do we get sick? Why do we feel like, oh my God, heavy, or create the relationships over and over and again? Because we haven't done the forgiveness process. And it's important to understand that once we do the forgiveness process for others, then it's easier to forgive ourselves for whatever it is that we think that we should have done any different.
And I will tell you from experience, forgiveness is probably one of the hardest things for me I've had to do
for everyone,
on and off, and for everyone for that matter, right?
Yeah.
but you're right. Once you're able to let go of that baggage and that heavy weight just
Yeah.
comes completely
Yeah,
off,
and
for
it's
sure.
not easy, but once we do it, oh, it feels. And do we have time a little bit or no? I want to share a little bit of my
Yeah.
experience. I was born and raised in Mexico, and my father was kidnapped and he was murdered in Mexico when I was 15. Okay, so that's why I'm here now in the United States and all of that. So as a 15-year-old, just getting yourself in that situation with your father. One day he's kidnapped, the next day he's murdered, and then you find yourself in another country with a different culture, with a different language, and nobody teaches us how to grieve. I mean, at least to me, nobody taught me how to grieve, how to do that process. It was until later going to school through my coaching and my spiritual counseling that I realized, oh my God, I have to forgive what happened to my father so many years ago, instead of just pretending that it's not there or that it's so sad and cry. But it's no, we have. It was until I learned to forgive those people that I was able to create a better life for myself. Because also when we don't grieve correctly, then we make mistake after mistake after mistake without even knowing so. So it's the grieving process, it's the forgiveness process that allows us to be able to breathe and shine in our own unique way. Whatever it is that happened, we have the power to create. We have the power to forgive.
That's awesome. Hey, so since we are running a little bit out of
Yeah.
time, any parting words you like to leave us with?
Yeah, I always like to remind people to just accept the beautiful self that you are. That is my favorite thing to remind all of us. Look yourself in the mirror every morning. Tell yourself, I love you. And I know that's not an easy task because that's something that we are not used to do. But just look yourself in the mirror. Give yourself, even if it's 10 seconds or 20 seconds at the beginning, look yourself in the eye. If you don't want to look at your whole body, but at least just your eyes, and tell yourself, I love you. And I got you, and we're going to go through this. Because if we learn to talk to ourselves, we are giving ourselves the power to be better, to do better. And when we do better, we give our better selves to the people around us. And they deserve to have the better version of ourselves. Why not?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, this has been Martha Bass with Love
Mm-hmm.
Heals, co-author also with Dr. Carol Bliss. So hey, I want to thank you very much for your time this
No,
morning.
thank you.
I'm hoping that everybody that is tuned in, I'll keep posting the website on there. Got a lot of great information. Definitely a good option or a resource for folks to reach out to you too, and set up those one-on-ones to get to know you a little bit better, get a copy of the book, get to know your journey, and how you can help everybody else too. So with that said, this has been another session
Thank you.
FYI Live. So again, I appreciate my guest, Martha Bass, and I'll be signing off and look for you guys on the next broadcast. So thanks again.
Thank you. And just a quick reminder that the book, you can find it on Amazon.com, Kindle, or Divorce.
Awesome, and we'll make sure that we put the link on there as well too.
Thank you.
All right, take care.